everyone, my name is Marie. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm working on a little suburban home. This home is actually nothing super special. I was just really in the mood to sit down and build a cute family home that is like somewhat suburban, but also more on the modern side of things. So that is kind of what I was going for. It looks like a pretty standard suburban home, but I was imagining it being like recently built, so it is a pretty new house. You can definitely tell by the interior of the house that it's more so like recently built or at least renovated, but I was definitely imagining it being recently built. And yeah, it's just a nice suburban family home, and it's on the more like narrow side of things, which is why I decided to build it on a more narrow lot. This is a regular just 30 by 20, I believe. So yeah, it's nothing big, nothing too crazy, and it's more like, yeah, as you can see, like more narrow. And yeah, I really like how this one came together. I was most definitely struggling with like the window placement and everything, because I am more used to building wider homes as opposed to longer homes, if that makes sense. I usually tend to like make my houses a little bit wider, and this one is more narrow and then longer, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but yeah, I really like how this one came together. And for the seasons, as you can see, I set it to autumn, but like literally the last day of autumn, because you can see that all the trees have like lost all of their leaves and everything. But I like the lighting in the fall a little bit better sometimes because it's just a little bit more on the warmer side of things. The sunlight in the winter time in the game is very cool toned, which I also really like. It's very pretty. But for this house, I kind of just wanted to give it a little bit of warmth, like for the screenshots and just for the vibes when I was building. It really does look very pretty in the winter time too, because I have my game set to winter right now. So you'll see that once we do a little tour at the end of the speed build. I'll do a little tour and then you'll see what it looks like in the winter time. Not necessarily snowy, but just like the winter lighting and stuff. It still looks really pretty. But also for landscaping purposes, I kind of wanted to set it to like the last day of fall so that everything has kind of lost its leaves, but also there's some like shrubs and stuff around so that you can still kind of see what you're doing when it comes to landscaping, because that is sometimes pretty difficult in the wintertime. You can landscape, but all like the bushes and stuff have like no leaves, so it's really difficult to see what you're actually doing. I did go ahead and check like the landscaping, like how it looks in the summertime to make sure that it doesn't look like ridiculous. But it looks good in the summertime as well. So yeah, I didn't actually have to change anything. So that was actually pretty exciting. Here you can see I was messing around with like a chimney because I knew for a fact that I wanted to put a fireplace in this little bump out that I'm like messing around with. But yeah, the chimney thing just wasn't working out for this one. So I decided to get rid of it and just put a little chimney on the roof. Which also makes sense, I guess, but it's not that realistic. But I mean, I guess it's okay. It doesn't really matter too much. And here you can see as I'm placing this tree, it still has like a couple of leaves to it, which I just really like. So yeah, that is why I prefer doing this house like in the autumn as opposed to the actual like winter time, even though everything is pretty sad looking, like no leaves or anything, but still just a little bit of leaves, which definitely made all the difference for this build in my opinion. But yeah, you can see that I was working on some landscaping. I was placing some hedges around the fence, closing off the backyard and stuff. And I just, like I already said, I really like how this one came out. So for the family living in this house, I wasn't necessarily thinking of any like very specific personalities, but I furnished it for two parents, a toddler, and then a teenager and a kid sharing a bedroom. So the teen and the kid share a room. And I was thinking that they were like very much into sports. I didn't really necessarily think of any specific genders or anything, but yeah, you can really tell that their bedroom is very, it uses lots of blue and lots of like sportsy themed stuff, wallpaper, clutter, stuff like that. So I was definitely imagining that. And I could totally also see the kid and the teenager getting into fights from time to time because there is a little bit of an age difference there, but they do have to share a bedroom. So I can totally understand, like imagine the teenager being a little bit like moody sometimes towards their younger sibling. Like it's kind of annoying. They're in their space all the time. So yeah, that is a little bit of an issue for this house. But it's okay, it's still like working out. And then the toddler is lucky. The toddler has their own little bedroom. And I use a lot of like the pastel pop kit kind of stuff in there to like make it look very pastel-y and cutesy. So yes, 3 children and then 2 parents is what I was imagining. It could also only be 1 parent, obviously. It doesn't really matter that much. And then what you actually could do, I was imagining like maybe the fights between the oldest siblings will get very bad, and then maybe they'll have to decide to give them like each their own bedroom. There is space to do that because there is a fully closed off office space downstairs. So you could turn that maybe into one of the kids' bedrooms, or you could move the parents downstairs, except the parents' bedroom upstairs has an ensuite. So maybe you don't want to get rid of that, or like maybe you don't want to like move the parents downstairs and then make it so that they don't have an ensuite anymore. But yeah, you could do whatever you want, but there is a little bit of wiggle room is what I'm trying to say bedroom wise. So you could even have like more children. I don't know, maybe have 2 more, like 1 more kid. That could also definitely work out. So yeah, but I'm still like working on the landscaping, trying to make it look good. It was a little bit challenging, like I already explained, to like landscape and make sure it looks good because everything is pretty dead looking and it looks a little bit weird, and it's kind of difficult to see what you're actually doing because there's like no flowers and stuff around. But yeah, like I said, I also checked it out in the summertime and it actually looks just fine. And yeah, we have a little front porch. I really like how this front porch came together. Actually, most of the exterior for this build uses only base game, so I feel like it should be very easy to download. If you like decorating houses, then this one is most definitely very easy to download because the whole exterior will probably be exactly the same. I'm like trying to think what I used is from a pack, maybe like the lights by the front door, something like that. And then definitely some of the decorations on the porch as well. But you know, the most of the like build stuff is actually from base game, except for the sliding glass doors in the living room, like leading onto the back porch. That one is from Island Living. But for the rest, like the doors and windows, the wallpaper, everything is pretty much base game. So yeah, it should be pretty easy. If you enjoy redecorating, then you can definitely go ahead and do that. Yeah, this is most definitely not a limited pack build. I kind of went all out with packs for this one. And the interior of this house is more on the cool tone side of things. I was really enjoying that because it was actually kind of inspired by the flooring, the swatch of the flooring that I'm using. You can see that cool toned wood that I'm using. I think it's just so pretty. I think that's a base game flooring, if I'm not mistaken. Could also be cats and dogs, but I think it's base game actually. And I really like this swatch. It's one of my favorite swatches. It's just a very like dark and kind of cool toned wallpaper that or like flooring that I really enjoy. So that is what I use for this one. And that is why I decided, or when I decided to make this entire like color scheme on the inside more on the cool toned side of things. And I really, really enjoy how it came together. It definitely feels pretty modern, but also very lived in and family oriented, and here and there, like just a little bit mismatched, if that makes sense. Because that is just more realistic, I feel like. Even though a lot of the time in The Sims, it's just a lot of fun to just go all out, make it very matchy-matchy and cutesy. But for this one, I decided to go for the more realistic route, I guess, and try at least to make it a little bit more realistic. With like mismatched furniture, sometimes wood swatches that don't necessarily go perfectly. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And here you can see we have the living room. The living room space is quite narrow. This entire floor plan is actually pretty closed off, and I really enjoyed that for this one. So we have the living room here, and then I also placed a dining table here, but I wasn't necessarily thinking of that table like as the official dining table, because there's another dining table in the kitchen with 5 chairs, so all 5 Sims can actually sit there and have dinner, even though the toddler probably can't sit properly. You would like maybe use a high chair for them. I did not place high chairs in this build because they're very glitchy, and I feel like no one really ever uses high chairs anyway. But if you do, you can obviously go swap out one of the dining chairs for a high chair for the toddler, and you're all set. It's really not that hard, but yes, I never ever place high chairs. I never touch on this for my builds, but I feel like in general, let me know if you do use high chairs, but I feel like pretty much no one ever uses high chairs these days because they're so freaking glitchy. and a little bit annoying. But yeah, that's okay. But here you can see we have the little living room. It's coming together quite nicely. I was messing around with a placement for like a bookcase. I wasn't exactly sure what to do, but I decided to go for this shelving unit from Moschino Stuff. And yeah, I placed it here in the living room. I think it all looks very like snuggly. It's not like super spacious, but also not too cramped in this house. There's definitely no routing issues. I did playtest the build and everything works fine, but yes, I can totally imagine it looking a little bit cramped, but I kind of really like that. It makes it feel very realistic to me, in my opinion. So yes, here we have that little area in the living room by the glass sliding doors that I turned into. I was actually debating turning this into the official dining area with like a round chair, but it was taking up too much space. So I decided to go for a regular table with 4 chairs. And then eventually I also placed a china cabinet or like a shelving unit. Yeah, this one from Jungle Adventure, and I merged it together with a table. This base game table comes in the exact same wood swatch, which was so nice in my opinion. It matches perfectly with the cabinet that I placed. So I just kind of merged them together, and I feel like it looks like such a cool living room sort of unit. So this table I was thinking was more for like activities and stuff. Obviously you can sit here and eat if you would like, but I think I placed some like board games and some like children like drawing, crafting stuff in the cabinet to kind of reflect that this is more of like an activity sort of area in the house. You can sit here and do your homework, sit here and play board games, maybe do some crafts, like stuff like that is kind of what I was imagining for this table, if that makes sense. And then we have an actual dining table with 5 chairs, like I explained, in the kitchen as well. And then here for like a split second, I was thinking of adding a pet bed because I could totally see this family had like either a dog or a cat. But I ended up not really having the space for it, so I decided not to. But if you wanted to add a pet for this family or for this household, I feel like you could very easily go ahead and do that. Especially a cat, I feel like shouldn't be too difficult. A bigger dog might be more difficult if you want to use like a pet bed or anything. Those are so big, like I barely ever have the space for them unless I take them into consideration like from the get-go. But for some reason, I barely ever do that. So I barely ever end up having the space for it. But yes, here you can see I was getting started on the kitchen. I really like the tiles that I'm using in the kitchen floor as the kitchen flooring. I mean to say, those tiles on the floor are from the, oh gosh, one of the first ever kits that we got, the country kitchen kit, I think is what it's called. I barely ever use those like stones or like tiles on the floor, but they're so pretty. And I really enjoyed this swatch with the like green and beigey tones. For some reason, it looked very modern to me, and it adds just that like tiny little bit of color that I really enjoyed for this one. And then I use these dark brown countertops and like overhead cabinets from Jungle Adventure. My favorite ever countertops. I don't know. I just we have a lot more in the game these days, like a lot more kitchen counters, but still these ones I feel like will forever be my favorite. They're so pretty. The swatches are so good. They're rustic and modern at the same time, and I really enjoy them. One thing that sometimes bothers me about them is the overhead cabinets with the like very colorful plates in them. Like that is sometimes not really the vibe. But for this one, I think I only used one cabinet where you can actually see the plates, so it wasn't too much of an issue for me. And then here I cluttered up the kitchen. I added a little shelf for clutter purposes, and I really tried to make the kitchen look lived in. As always, I did leave one countertop free of decorations, so your Sims can actually go ahead and use that for cooking. There's only one countertop free of decorations though, so you can't like cook with multiple Sims at the same time, unless you like clear out a couple extra countertops, which you could definitely do that if you wanted to, but I just always really like the look and feel of a cluttered kitchen. And here I also placed this shelving unit from Eco Lifestyle. I really liked how it looked here because it was just the perfect size to put in that little nook without it looking overly cramped. It was just so perfect. So that is what I decided to do there. And then here we have the closed off office space that I was talking about. It's a pretty formal office. I wasn't really sure what the parents would do for their job, like career-wise, but maybe one of them uses this office a lot because they work from home a lot. But then at the same time, it doesn't really necessarily look very much like a very I don't know, like workspace office. It just looks more like a home office where you would sit down and sometimes get a little bit of work done, but for the most part, it's just, I don't know, a nice multi-purpose space, I guess. And then I cluttered up the desk with some knickknacks as well, and I placed a little reading chair in the corner, which I really, really enjoyed. And I ended up placing a bookcase in here as well as a guitar. I was thinking of maybe placing an easel in here. I don't think I ended up doing that though. I might be wrong. It's been a couple days since I finished this house, so I'm not exactly sure what I did, but I don't think I did. I think I just placed a guitar in here. I never ever place guitars in my houses anymore these days, but it's such a fun activity for your Sims to do. So I decided, you know what, maybe one of the Sims in this house likes to play the guitar. Maybe they like to sit there and like compose music or like practice their skills. That is kind of what I was thinking. Maybe one of the parents. I feel like that would be so cute if one of the parents would do that. And then here off of the kitchen / dining, we have the downstairs bathroom. It's the only downstairs bathroom, and I also placed laundry in here. So we have a washer and dryer, and then I put a shower, sink, and toilet in here as well. So yes, one downstairs bathroom, and then we have one upstairs hall bathroom, and then the parents have an ensuite, like I explained as well. So yeah, there is that. Let me know what you think of this house so far. I really, really enjoy it. I think the color scheme is pretty nice. I can totally understand if people don't like the tiles that I use. I use the same tiles in the bathroom that I used in the kitchen, the one from the Country Kitchen kit. I was, for the longest time, very unsure if I should use the tiles. I also used the wallpaper from that kit in certain places in this house as well as like an accent wallpaper. It's really, really pretty. But I can totally understand if people don't like the floor tiles that I used with the green, but for some reason it was just something different that I don't think ever used before. So I really, really enjoyed it using those tiles for this house. And then here upstairs we have a little landing area. It's only very small, but it is open to the hallway space downstairs, which I always really like. It just opens up the space nicely and it just looks like super realistic. I remember as a kid, the house I grew up in didn't have this, like the staircase was not open to the ground floor. It was open, but it didn't have like that like balcony effect, if that makes sense. And I remember one of my friend's houses, she was living like a couple houses down the street. They had like that full on kind of like balcony effect for their landing. And I always remember like wanting that so badly in my house as a kid. For some reason, there was just something so magical about that. I know it's really strange and random, but I remember really enjoying that, and that feeling kind of stuck with me. I have always liked that like open to the ground floor balcony kind of situation for some reason. I know it's super random, but I just really enjoy it. But here we have the parents' bedroom. I really like the color scheme in here as well. I used this bed from Cats and Dogs with the green bedding on it, which once again, I barely ever use. But in this room, it was just perfect. And it kind of like brings back the green in the tiles that I'm using in like the bathrooms in the kitchen. For some reason, it just kind of goes. And one thing I never used that I placed in here was a clock on the wall. I just forget they exist. And I never put them anywhere. But for this house, I actually strangely remembered. And I placed a clock on the wall, which I think was a really cute and like realistic addition. And then the parents do have a built-in wardrobe, and I gave them an additional dresser just for additional like clothes, knickknacks, maybe sheets, what have you. And yeah, for the rest of this bedroom is pretty simple. And I placed some makeup and stuff and like a watch on top of the dresser and some towels just to make it look cluttered and lived in as well. I think I did not record their ensuite actually, but it's very simple. It's very simply decorated. I will show you obviously in the tour portion of the video. I also remember to place some of these like empty picture frames on the wall. Those came with Moschino stuff pack, and they're actually a lot of fun. I just never use them, but you can actually put pictures in there, like family photos, which is such a cute thing to do. I should totally remember to use them and like place them more often. I just feel like in build mode, they look pretty sad because they're just empty black, like voids basically. So that is kind of sad, but for gameplay, it's so cute. You can just like fill them with different photos and change them out throughout the years. And I just think it's just so cute. So yeah, I place them in the parents' bedroom and then also in the kitchen, I believe. And then here we have the shared teen and kids room, and I was really trying to like give them each their own little space. I was really trying to divide the room a little bit by using this this shelving unit, this bookcase from Discovery University, to kind of like divide the space a little, give them each their own separate like bed area, if that makes sense. And then throughout the room we have some toys. Obviously I had to like make do with the space. It's not the biggest bedroom, so they have a pretty small wardrobe to like share between the two of them, but I feel like that's okay. And then the white bed like on the left side of the bookcase I was thinking could be for the teenager, and then the other side with the more colorful bedding I was thinking could be for the kid. No reason, like no specific reason for that, but I felt like since the white bed was more on the side of the desk area, and I was really imagining the desk area like supposed to be for the teenagers. They can sit down there, do their homework, study a little bit. They probably have to like kick their sibling out of the room from time to time when they're trying to sit there and study, which is a little bit sad because, you know, all the toys are in this room. There is no toys anywhere else in the house. No like functional toys, that is. But I really like this desk space, and this bedroom is quite colorful. I really try to, you can see that there is a little bit of orange in the wallpaper and like the basketball little accent, and I took that and ran with it. So I basically just decided to go for like orange accents throughout this room with like the curtains and stuff. I can totally see and like understand if you don't like it, but I just always like to just get out of my comfort zone sometimes for children's and teenagers' rooms, like do some weird color combinations that you might not like when you like get a little older. But these kids and this teenager, they enjoy it for now. And as you can see, they're both very much into sports, is what I was thinking. There's lots of like clutter on the floor. These kids don't really ever pick up after themselves. I feel like their parents have to tell them to do that all the time. They have lots of posters and stuff on the wall as well, and I remember to place this alarm clock from the high school years pack for the teenager side of the bed, which I thought was really, really cute. And then after that bedroom, we're moving on to the toddler's room. This one is very, very cutesy. I use a lot of pastel colors in here. I fully use the pastel pop wallpaper, as you can see, with the strawberries and the flowers and the little green dots, and I'm still not over it. I just love it so much. I love the pastel pop kit so much more than I thought I would. When I first saw the pack like being announced and like screenshots of this stuff, I was like, okay, this is cute, but it's probably something I won't use a lot. Well, I use it all the time, actually. I really especially like it for toddlers' bedrooms. It's so usable for spaces like that, and like kids' rooms as well. Teens rooms as well, because it really, really mixes well with the high school years stuff. I used a high school years dresser in here, as you can see, that I turned into like a changing table with like an ottoman merged into it. I do that all the time for toddlers' rooms. I think it's so cute. And I placed a little bookcase in here. I was definitely shuffling around the furniture quite a bit because for some reason this bedroom didn't come as naturally to me. I don't know why. I was struggling with the layout a little bit, I guess. But there's definitely some toddler toys in here. We have the Blarfy and the cat version, and then some, just some toys they can play with on the floor as well. So not a whole bunch of them. If you want to add more, like if you want to use the toddler's tablet, for example, or just different things, you can always like put it in here. But there's lots of room to play on the ground, like on the floor in this room as well, which is definitely what I was going for. And then we have one shared bathroom upstairs, which is for all the kids to share, basically. And I actually remembered to put a toddler potty in here, so you're all set. I always forget about the toddler potties. For some reason, there's just something about them. I forget that they exist. I forget that you need them. I never place them. But for this bathroom, I remembered because I think it's just because I literally furnished the toddler's room before I moved on to this bathroom. And I also had like the perfect little spot for it here right next to the toilet. It just fit perfectly. So that is why I thought of it, I guess. I really like this bathroom. It's a little bit more on the bigger side of things. Usually I always go for my standard small bathroom with like shower tub combo and then toilet and sink on the other side, and then maybe some stuff on the wall, and that's it, like some towels and stuff, and then that's that. But this one is a little bit bigger. I even closed off like one square, filled it in with a platform to like give the room a little bit more shape and fit in the shower tub combo a little bit more snuggly, which I always really enjoy. And then I cluttered it up because it is for like the 3 kids to share. So I only imagined like it being a little bit more cluttered and messy and stuff. So that is what I decided to do. And then here we're moving on to the backyard. We have a nice dining table, a 4-seater dining table on the back porch. And then we also have an extended terrace. I decided to place like an extra picnic table on the extended terrace and then also a nice seating area. But for the rest, since I was building this in the fall/winter time, I didn't go crazy with decorations for the backyard because it is like fall/winter time. So they're probably not using the backyard all that much right now. But it's definitely usable because there is like some like a nice seating area and stuff. And I also placed a grill and, like I said, a picnic bench. So you can definitely sit outside like and chill on a nice winter day. But then I was also definitely imagining there being enough space, like when there's snow, for example, to build a snow pal, do snow fights, make snow angels, stuff like that, like a snowball fight, stuff like that. I really wanted there to be enough space for that. And then also I wanted there to be some activity. So we have the monkey jungle bars for the kid. We have a slide for the toddler, which I thought was a nice addition as well. And then I placed some planter pots and also a woodworking bench. And then since the kid and the teen are both very much into sports, I decided to place a football as well as a soccer ball because I thought that would be cute. I could totally see them using those balls and like playing with their friends or with each other. And then I think I also placed bicycles on the driveway, but that is basically it for this house. So here we have the house in the game in the winter time. You can see that the lighting is a lot more cool toned, which I actually also really enjoy for this house. Now that I'm looking at it again, it's nice. It totally fits the vibe. So yeah, here we have the front porch with a nice dining table and some like plants and decorations. And then here we have the driveway with a truck and some bicycles parked outside as well. And then the front porch also has this little side entrance, like side staircase. I thought that was a cute little addition. Then here we have a gate leading into the backyard. So we have some activities here. We have some planter boxes, a slide, woodworking bench, play area, some balls around, and just a little seating area as well. And then up here we have the back porch with a dining table. Then when we go inside, we have a quite spacious hallway, which I really liked for this house. I also created this open door effect. It just makes it look so lived in and realistic in my opinion. And I had the space for it, so I figured why not do that here? So we have the front door, and then here we have this very cluttered entryway table with a lot of stuff and a coat closet in here as well. And then here on this little wall, I placed this rack with the keys and the letters, and I placed the bags as well. So yes, it looks definitely like an entryway. I really like this one. Then through this door, we kind of enter right into the kitchen/dining, and then it's open to the living room over here with this archway situation. So not fully closed off. But here in the kitchen, we have this dining table, like dining space, and the kitchen over here. So the kitchen is not too big, but I really like it. It feels very realistic. It's a nice size. It's very clutter heavy over on this side and then less so on this side. So there is most definitely some space to cook over here. And then through this archway, we have the living room. I really like it. My sim is in here just watching some TV. Don't mind her. It's nice and cluttered. It definitely looks quite realistic as well, and also modern. And yeah, so we have another dining table over here, which is more like an activity table, like I explained. You can sit here and drink some tea, play some board games, do some crafts, stuff like that. So very cozy family space. I really like how this came together. And then over here we have the office, the closed off office, and it has a door connecting it to the living room as well as a door connecting it to the entryway space. I felt like that would be nice for routing for your Sims. So we have a desk space here, quite cluttered, and then a nice reading chair in the corner, and then a more library looking bookcase in here, as well as a guitar. Then when we go upstairs, we have this a little bit awkwardly shaped landing area, but I really like how it came together nonetheless. We just have some storage space, some bookcases. I remembered to place the decoration box from Seasons, so that is quite useful. And then through here, we have the parents' bedroom. I really like this one as well. We have some warmer colors in here to like warm the room up a little bit. I thought for a bedroom that would be fitting. So they have their bed with their nightstands and some knickknacks, an additional dresser with some stuff, and then a built-in wardrobe on this side. And then here they have their ensuite, my standard bathroom layout that I was talking about in the speed build, shower tub combo, sink, toilet. Very simple, but gets the job done. Then here, my favorite room of the house, or at least my favorite bedroom for the kid and the teenager to share. toddler. So this one is definitely very messy. The teen has their desk over here with some like high school clutter and different knickknacks and also a tablet. I was really thinking they needed that for school. Then here is a little play area for the kid, and then they have their divided bed spaces, if you can call it that, with a bookcase in the middle that obviously this way isn't accessible, but it was more so for decoration purposes anyway. Next up, we have the toddler's room, very pastel-y, very cutesy, very colorful. I really like this. So we have a changing table with a chair next to it, and then for the rest, just a lot of space to play. And then obviously they have a bed as well. And then here is the kids' bathroom. The lighting in here this time of day is actually really nice. So we have a sink, lots of counter space for stuff, a toilet with a potty next to it, and then also a shower tub combo. But that is basically it for this house. So this modern family home is up on the gallery. I had no clue what really to call it, and I still don't, but I just decided to go for modern family home. I built it on a 30 by 20 in the world of Willow Creek, and it comes in at just under 120,000 simoleons, so pretty expensive. But then again, I was imagining this house to be for a more established family. So yes, if you want to place it in your game, you can get it off the gallery. But that is gonna do it for today's video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!